this guy, Justin, had all this anxiety, and that was a big change for dropping tons of anxiety, especially around communication. He had a lot up here, here, here. It stores in the body in different parts. And all it was getting all that anxiety out of his body. And then it allowed all that natural talent to shine. It's the same thing I see in one of our other clients that was here this week, where some people have to be put back together. You have to glue all the pieces back together and then help them, I'm not doing it. I show them, and they have to do it to themselves. If they don't do it themselves, it won't stick. And then they have to build themselves from scratch.
Well, most people know that they're tuning in because that something is missing in their life. They know that they need help. Mm-hmm. So they're tuning in, they're looking to you, they have admiration for you, and then they can't help but wanting to go on to that next step, which I think is a good way of not coming in for the hard sale.
Yeah.
And you need this because you're lacking it, this, and the other.
What is a hard sell? I mean, you just said it.
There are people that do it. There are people that can kind of...
We do a little bit of, Dave does a little bit of a hard sell, and I've done it, but is it a hard sell? It's, because what we do is we step into the tension really hard with the guys because that's what we teach. And we hold them in it, but it's really, I think it's the mentality behind the hard sell. Because when we do it, the mentality is to get you to a yes or a no, and it doesn't have to be a yes, or that's the way I do it at least. But but being on the fence is one of the most unhealthy things you can do because your life goes nowhere and sits in limbo. So our goal is let me help you get to a yes or a no. No is fine. Tell me no if you don't want to do this. And they have a hard time doing that. And then I know there's something in there for them. But and to me, that whole process in and of itself has a lot of tension in it. So it could be perceived as a hard sell, but what it really is, and what's amazing, is how much people will grow out of that. Facing that, even if they don't buy, they might get this huge growth. If they buy, they get this huge growth because it's really a therapeutic process getting them almost. I don't want to say therapeutic, but it's a growth process getting them to a yes or a no. Just make a decision in your life, man.
And can you name examples of people who have jumped off that fence and can do yes and no, that have grown, and you've seen that happen, and no longer sit back and are complacent?
I'm thinking of one. I'm trying to remember who it was. I walked in the room. Yeah, it was one of our clients. He was sitting there talking with Dave, and he was like, I don't know, I want to wait. And I went in, and I just did some teachings on how waiting is sitting in limbo, and his life isn't going to change. It's actually going to get worse. And I showed him why, and showed how the teachings work. And I said, it's not bad. And I also said, it's not bad to say no. If you think it's a no, say no. And make it a no. Don't sit in limbo. And then I walked out, and apparently he bought, and he's been a client ever since, gung-ho going forward at 100 miles an hour. Or another one that I didn't have to do that with is this guy behind the camera. He just came in, he got it right away. He saw what we were talking about, and he just came up and said, I have to do this. I don't have any money, but I'm going to do it anyways. And ever since then, he's been doing that ever since, and his life just keeps going bing, 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 bing. So he, unlike other people where we had to really say it to, he got the idea about the tension right away, and he's been applying it to his life ever since. And that's why he's had all these adventures. That's why his life has changed so much. That's why he's more relaxed, because he didn't do it kicking and screaming. And that's why I respect him so much. He grows fast because of that, right? He's proactive with that tension, and never stays in limbo. At least not very long, if he does. So, is that accurate?
I've got myself in limbo a few times.
Yeah.
But it annoys the shit out of me. So stop it, make a decision. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
From a business point of view, that Justin obviously coming to Bucharest, do you think that was a turning point for his change?
Yeah.
So
I would say so. I think you might want to ask him, but I think so.
Well, you can talk about that afterwards.
Yeah. I saw...
This is his selling point, right?
I saw a massive change in him that week.
Yeah.
And so this guy, Justin, had all this anxiety, and that was a big change for dropping tons of anxiety, especially around communication. He had a lot up here, here, here. It stores in the body in different parts. And watching it all drop off and watching him go, and you could see him relaxing more and more and more every day into his body. He transformed a lot that week. He was more on the level of a guy who, it was funny because I could see he had a lot of natural talent, but he somehow installed tons of anxiety on top of it. And all it was getting all that anxiety out of his body. And then it allowed all that natural talent to shine. It's the same thing I see in one of our other clients that was here this week, Cairo. And I see this massive amount of natural talent, and I was like, it's already there, dude. But you got to get you to stop numbing. His is numbing, right? Got to get you to stop numbing yourself so it'll come out. And some guys have to actually develop the structure, the skill sets, the talent itself, because they've never had it developed in their life. So it's easy when a guy comes in with a lot of talent and it's just a lot of crap on top of it, because it's like cleaning off something that's like a value. Like you dig in the dirt and you find a relic that's been covered over for years, and you start cleaning it off a little bit at a time, and it starts to shine out. You're like, wow, this thing's amazing. Whereas some people have to be put back together. You have to glue all the pieces back together and then help them, and I'm not doing it. I show them, and they have to do it to themselves. If they don't do it themselves, it won't stick. And then they have to build themselves from scratch. Now, there's value in both. It makes me sound like these guys are better than the others. I was more the one that had to be put together. I was a fucking mess, train wreck. And the value in that is that when you put yourself back together or you build yourself because you were never given the skill sets in the first place, is you usually become very good at transferring those teachings to other people, sharing with other people, because that's, by having to do it, you can teach it. Whereas other teachers are great storytellers and modelers of the energy. Like they live in it and express it. And if you just watch them, like we were watching Zan last night, the way he moves, the way he talks, the way he flows, and you feel that in your body. You just feel like, wow, where is he feeling in his body, and what am I feeling when he does it? And feel those relationships. Not the logic of what he's saying as much, although that's important too, but the feeling. You can actually start to feel that, and then you can take that feeling out in the world, and it will affect the world. And there's a beingness in that, a beauty in that, and I love it. And so I love to sit and watch people that have already got it. I'll watch, even if they can't explain it. Like when I first met Dave, he had a certain groundedness abilities, and I would see how they were unique in him, unlike any other naturals. And I don't know that he could explain it at all, because it was part of who he was throughout his whole life. He developed it as a little boy, so there was no logic behind it. And I would sit and watch Dave move and walk, talk how he grounded things, and I'd say, okay, I see what he's doing. I see what his body's doing. And then pretty soon your body starts to do it too. If you see it deep enough, your body will start to do it. If you're rounded enough, your body will start to do it. And I did that with other people that I've met too. I've just sat and watched YouTube videos of powerful people and said, what is their body doing right now? How's it flowing? Why is it doing? How's he expressing? Where is he expressing from? Where does Richard Branson express from? Where does Donald Trump express from? Probably shouldn't. Nowadays, I'm getting all these comments because I said Donald Trump, just for saying his name, right? But you can't, whether you like him or not, he's a powerful guy, right? He is a powerful guy. And what I love about him is he can get attacked ruthlessly, day in and day out, by the media, by people, by protesters. And he just grounds that shit out and goes on. Gets up the next day. I can't tell you how many people would just be, I'm done. And that I respect. I don't have to get into the politics of Donald Trump, because I'm not going to do that for my channel. But I can still, even in people I don't like, I can still look and say, look at that ability in that person. And I'm not saying I do or don't like Donald Trump again, because there's things about him I actually really love. There are people out there I don't like, and then I look at him and I'm like, but he's got this. He's got this down, Look at the way he does this. It's fucking money. Or her. It could be a her, And we want to, what is it, throw the baby out with the bathwater? We don't like somebody, so we want to say they're all bad, all good. We're looking for right and wrong in everything, and everything's shades of gray. Somebody's got a piece of the pie, or they wouldn't be popular at all. That's what makes them popular. There's some piece that there's truth in, and there's other pieces that there isn't. And I think that's what's interesting about you. You're like a gypsy nomad, like Zan. You're a female version of Zan in some ways, because you're traveling the world. You just wherever. I'll grab my bag. I'll go. I'll be art. I'll be beauty. He's the male appreciating the beauty. You're the female being beauty through your artwork, right? Through your masks, through your stage, through your performances, and in that, you're giving back to the world, and you're doing it all over. You're just spontaneously picking up and going, and I think you're realizing there's all this beauty in Romania, but you could also come in here and say, look at this destroyed country. Look at all the problems they had. They came out of communism. Look at these old communist buildings they built. This place needs a lot of work. I'm not coming back here for 20 years. Or you could really look at it and you could see the subtleties and all the dirt that's being cleaned off of all these artifacts and how they're just being discovered, and there's not a million people staring and looking at each one right now, and that gives you a chance to really take it in and really breathe it in, and the people and how the people are craving expression and starting to express more and more. I see this. People see a bad economy. I see economy becoming. I see a culture becoming art, starting to, and who knows what it'll be like in 20 years. This may be a thriving place. And I can always say I saw it when. I saw it early. And that's cool. That's to be grateful for. To pretty much everything. So, for example, this book is a book that teaches you about perfecting sleep, adding muscle, reversing injuries, running faster and farther.
Raw meat.
So this is like a big deal.
This is a very big deal.
So I have to interrupt here really quick. This man, I've been trying to get him to eat raw meat now, or try it, because it's I've been doing it a while, for over a year.
Yeah.
And